There's two more big things. The first one is Trent Williams. This happened right before John Lynch's press conference, about an hour before Adam Schefter reported that there's some financial impasse currently between Trent Williams and the 49ers. His cap number is very high this year. They'd like to lower it. He wants an extension. They haven't agreed to anything. And if they don't, the expectation is that Trent Williams will get released. So that was pretty drastic. And my guess is that that came from the agent. I have no idea. Great timing, because now John Lynch has to address it. And this whole thing is about Trent Williams. And what John Lynch essentially said is, yeah, it's true. They've been talking. He talked to the agent today. He thinks it's going in the right direction. He thinks they're going to keep him. And then I asked him in the private room back there, like, would you be open to extending Trent Williams, giving him more years on his contract at his age? And he said absolutely, which is kind of scary to me. But what do you think about what's going on?
Okay. First, I want to nail down exactly what they're talking about. And remember, when Ira Miller and Glenn Dickey were generally better at contracts than me, it's not necessarily what interests me. But I did some reading, and this is how I understand it. And Iggy, if I'm wrong, please correct me. I did some reading before we talked, and it seemed to me that all the demands are coming from the 49ers, not from Trent Williams. They're initiating this, and they're saying, you're going to earn a lot of money next season, and you are you represent $38 million against the cap, whatever that means. And we want to soften the blow for us. So would you accept less money next season, but we would give you an extension? And as far as I understand it, Trent Williams is in the position of having to respond. He did not make demands. And he may be saying, well, let's see how you present it.
Yeah.
If someone came to me when I was working at the Chronicle or the Press Democrat and said, we would like you to take less money, I would say, well, I don't want to take less money. Now, I signed a contract. It was a guild contract. It's not exactly what Williams is, but let's pretend. I signed a contract. We're both committed. I don't want to take less money. How are you going to make this attractive to me? So if what I'm saying is correct, I have no problem with Trent Williams. My issue is the Niners got themselves into a position, and he doesn't have to make it good for them.
I agree with all of that. Now, I'm not sure that this is the Niners initiating this. We don't know that for certain. It could be that Trent Williams initiated a contract standoff 2 years ago in 2024. He had 3 years left on his deal, but he had no guaranteed money left, and he wanted guarantees. So he held out the entire offseason and got the guarantees. Now he's back with 1 year left on his deal, and he has no guaranteed money left. It's possible he went to the Niners and said, look, I'm not playing on the last year of this deal. I've never done that. I don't do lame duck seasons. I didn't do it 2 years ago. I'm not doing it now. So you're going to give me an extension. And if you don't, I want to be cut so I could go be an unrestricted free agent and try my luck on the market elsewhere, because I know how much money I can get. And I know that I'm worth the extension. I want one more extension in my career, and I'm at the age right now where it has to happen. And from what I asked John Lynch, are you cool with that? And he said, yes, we would extend him. So I think it's possible. It's just like, how much money are they willing to give them? And that doesn't mean they're close. They could be very far apart on what a fair extension is.
Okay, Iggy, let's go with your possible scenario, because, again, I don't have any inside information. Let's say it's Trent Williams who's initiated this and says, I have 1 year to go. It's not guaranteed money. Give me an extension and guaranteed money, or we got a problem.
Yep.
Here's my solution. Cut him.
Yep.
Cut him. If that's the issue, Iggy, if it's on Trent Williams' side, and at 38, he's saying, I want more years and more money, Bill Walsh would cut him. You don't hold us hostage. You did play a lot of games last season, not as well as you used to play, but you missed a big game at the end, toward the end of the season. He missed a Seattle game, right, Iggy?
He missed weeks 17 and 18.
Yeah. Now, the counter argument to that is, yeah, but who's going to protect Brock Purdy? Not our problem, Iggy.
Nope.
their problem that they created. So they can either capitulate once again to this guy, which is such a bad look, or they have to get a left tackle. They're in between a rock and a hard place. I'd cut him if I were them, and I'd scurry to get the tackle, and I'd admit, once again, we screwed up and put ourselves in a bad position. But Iggy, if it's Williams who wants more money and more years, get rid of them. You got to get younger guys, cheaper guys, better guys, if you can. So I'd say thank you. You're going to go to the Hall of Fame, and we'll have a cupcake party for you. When you get in, we'll have cupcakes down here, and we'll have a big party. We might even have a Trent Williams Day. You're out of here.
Yep.
How do you feel about it?
I completely agree. The Niners have capitulated to too many players. And when I say the Niners, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, at least during their tenure. And I thought one of the best things they did last year was not capitulate. Jawan Jennings, we're not giving you what you want. And if you're upset about it, too freaking bad. It was one of their first off seasons last year where they didn't have someone holding out. And I think that was a big reason why they were so tight-knit as a team. They didn't start the season with business controversy. And now they're flirting with that. So to me, the number one thing they should do, assuming this is Trent who's pushing it, is cut him.
Yep.
If they don't do that and they extend him, that would be the second best thing, although I wouldn't like it. The worst thing they could do is draw this out and have him hold out. Can't happen. You have to have this. He's either not on the team in 2 weeks or he's extended in 2 weeks. There's no third option. And the second option isn't great.
I agree with you. You don't want more of this drama. It's not good for the team. And I'm going to tell you something else why it's not good. He's one of the team leaders. Iggy, I don't know if he's a captain or not. Is he a captain?
I believe he is.
Okay, yeah. He's a captain. So now he's holding out again?
For the second time.
You don't want captains holding out.
No.
And in addition, Iggy, my impression is he doesn't practice all the days during the week.
1 day a week.
Okay, 1 day a week. So look, here you have a team leader who's probably a captain who holds out a second time possibly for 40 days and only practices 1 day. What kind of example is that to young offensive linemen, to young players on the team?
Yeah.
Oh, Trent doesn't practice. He holds out. Well, he's the standard. You don't want a guy like that as the standard. You can't have that.
No. And you can't keep creating the pattern precedent that if a player who's good asks for more money, he gets it. I mean, if you give it to him this year, there's going to be 2 players next year. And I think last year you put your foot down. And it was easy to, because it was Jawan Jennings, and frankly, he's not that important. But if you do it now with Trent Williams, this might actually set the tone for the next 5 years. Like, you cannot hold us hostage anymore. We're the 49ers. We don't do business like that anymore. Sorry, ask Trent Williams.
Yeah, so you're saying Lynch said he's open to extending him?
What?
He said that?
He said that.
Then let's talk about Lynch. I said he's a gentleman, and he is, and I respect many things about him. He's open to extending him? I mean, I don't think he should be open to extending him. I think it's the wrong thing to do for the team. And I want to say something else. I looked at snippets of the press conference because I knew we would be talking. And Lynch, I wanted to say how he comported himself. Smiled a lot. Was completely at ease.
Yep. You
would have thought they won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He was having a good time. He never sweated, or whatever the present tense is. He never was uncomfortable. Iggy, this is a team that's owned by the Seahawks. Owned.
And what's interesting, I was at John Schneider's press conference today at like 2:30. Dude was sweating his ass off.
Yeah.
He didn't act like a guy who just won the Super Bowl. He was really working hard, thinking about the next team.
Yeah. This guy, it's like no sweat. We have all 11 draft choices from last season. We have all 11. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
How good are they? How much did they play? He's
how
trying
many
to
Pro Bowls did you draft?
Yeah,
None?
he's trying to pad his resume. Maybe he's afraid of losing his job. I feel he's too comfortable. I feel when you're owned by a team in your division, you should be more urgent. And he said he needed to get another pass rusher.
I asked.
No kidding. Yeah. But Iggy,
and what does that say about your draft from last year? You drafted 3 defensive linemen last year, and you need a pass rusher. You spent the 11th pick in the draft last year on a pass rusher. You need a pass rusher. Damn.
Iggy, they need more than a pass rusher. Let's just be clear a minute. This is a guy who's very comfortable a little while ago talking at that stage. He needs offensive linemen. People say the offensive line played better. Okay, they were owned by the four-man rush of Seattle, and they'll be owned again unless they get better guys. They were owned even when they had Trent Williams. Yeah. So you need a pass rusher. You need pass defenders. I mean, you need wide receivers. So he shouldn't be that comfortable. The fact that he's that comfortable makes me worried.
You know, it's interesting that you talk about how comfortable he looked.